Hello, once again, everyone. Thank you for joining me for today's live stream. Today, I thought we would take a look at the Yamaha 671D. Over the past few weeks during these live streams, I've been tackling broader subjects such as triple horns and how to choose a horn, and I've done a few horn shootouts. But I decided to see how it worked out to focus things in a little bit. Number one, so I don't run out of things to talk about, because I love doing these live streams and I love talking with you via chat. But also, um, just to try something new. Please let me know in the comments if you like this or if you prefer the broader chats. But let's get started. This is the Yamaha 671D. It's been out for a few years now. Hasn't been out for too long. I remember when they announced it at NAMM, the National Association for Music Merchants. And there was a lot of promotion around it because it replaced the ever popular 667. The 667 was a very, very popular horn, especially for people who wanted to customize their horns. So you saw 667s with different lead pipes and different bell and bell tails and bell flares, and it was just a very popular, very, very consistent horn. The 671, ever since it's come out, it's been one of the more popular horns in the shop. Now, of course, Yamaha is a big brand. It's one of the largest music manufacturers in the world, and most people, even non-musicians, know what Yamaha is. Although some may think of the motorcycle brand over the musical instruments. And I think all of us have owned some Yamaha products, at least. I own a Yamaha silent brass system. I have a Yamaha keyboard that I've had for the last 15 years. My studio monitors are Yamaha. I have a Steinberg audio interface, which is owned by Yamaha. So Yamaha enters our lives quite a bit. But this horn, does it play well? It is a Geyer style horn, a true Geyer style horn, not a Knopf style horn like the 667 was. The Geyer style horn, you can tell it's a Geyer versus a Knopf because the F branch here coming from the top of the first valve comes up straight instead of going over in the round. If you see it go out and around, it's a Knopf model horn. If you see it go straight up, it's a Geyer style horn. I don't know why Yamaha switched from a Knopf style horn to a Geyer style horn for their medium belled yellow brass horns, but I do think, just having some experience with this horn, that it is an improvement. So let's get down to it. Let's listen a bit to how the Yamaha 671 sounds. Now, of course, as you've heard me say before, and as I will continue to say, when you're trying out any horn or testing any horn, you need to start with the horn that you're currently playing now so that you can compare the other horn to it. So I'm going to play my horn first, and then I'm going to switch to the Yamaha. Now let's compare it to the Yamaha 671D. So as you can see, the Yamaha 671 has a good sound. I didn't find it particularly hard to play. The sound didn't feel thin. The articulation felt good to me, and the slurs felt good as well. Sound-wise, compared to the first horn that I played, to my ears, this horn had more high overtones, while the other horn had more of a wider spectrum of overtones. But considering we're comparing horns that have literally a $10,000 price difference, I think it compares quite well. One of the first things I notice about the Yamaha switching from my horn is that the valve action is a bit heavy. And I've noticed this about Yamahas before. I wish it was a bit lighter, a bit quicker. I feel like it would take me a while to get used to playing technical passages on this horn. But that being said, it's not like the valves are unacceptably heavy. They just feel a little heavier to me. I think for the sound of this horn and the feel of this horn, I could overlook that. Let's talk about mouthpieces on the Yamaha 671. So this is how it's been explained to me from people at Yamaha. But the Yamaha receiver is supposed to be a combination taper. So what that means is that it can accept Morse taper mouthpieces and European taper mouthpieces. What are Morse taper mouthpieces and European taper mouthpieces? Morse taper mouthpieces cause the mouthpiece to fit a little deeper inside of the horn. But it's not necessarily a difference in size. Again, it is a difference in taper. So if you place a Morse tapered mouthpiece into a receiver, a European receiver, it will wobble and it will go in too far. And vice versa, if you place a European tapered mouthpiece into a Morse or American tapered receiver, it will fit out too far and wobble. The Yamahas are supposed to be able to accept both mouthpieces without wobbling, although there is going to be a difference in the depth of the fit, and that will affect the feel of the horn and the intonation of the horn. This mouthpiece this is a Morse taper mouthpiece, and it does not rock at all in the receiver, so it fits quite well. And I've tried European tapered mouthpieces in Yamahas before, although I don't have one with me today, and they don't rock at all either. However, I find that the Morse tapered mouthpieces respond a bit better for my taste in Yamahas. Although some mouthpiece makers, at least Moosewood, Tom Greer at Moosewood used to have a special Yamaha shank that he claimed worked better in Yamahas. So it is a little different than your standard Morse receiver or a European receiver. The horn itself, I have found in the past that it is a good candidate to have the horn unlacquered. And that's because Yamaha's lacquer is really, really good. Yamaha's lacquer, very hard to remove. It's very hard wearing. It's very durable. So if you want a lacquered horn, Yamaha's lacquer works exceptionally well. The problem is that it also tends to affect, and this is just to me, it affects the sound a bit. And I like the way that the unlacquered Yamahas sound. So when people have their Yamahas unlacquered, I like the sound of it better. These are also still great horns for customization. I've seen great things done to Yamaha 671s when people replace the bell or replace the lead pipe and have a truly custom horn. I would say approach that with caution, though. In my opinion, I feel like if you want a custom horn, you should just take a look at something else. If the Yamaha 671 as a stock instrument doesn't work for you, you should take a look at another horn. Customizing a horn can be a tricky proposition, especially if you think about resale value, because a lot of customizations do not add to the value of the instrument. This is what ends up happening. Someone will pay $1,000 to have their horn, pimped out. But in a few years, they'll decide that they want to sell it. The issue is that it is still a Yamaha 671. And when people are looking and searching for a used Yamaha 671, they're looking to save money off of the price of a new 671, which is just under $5,000. $4,989, I believe, is the exact price. So if you want to sell your customized horn for $56, $57, you have to do a lot of work to justify that to a potential buyer as to why this customized Yamaha 671 is worth way more than a brand new stock Yamaha 671. Let me play a little bit more on this horn. Let's see how the low range feels. Okay, very stable in the low register. It didn't back up against me. It responded well. The low register played well. It played in tune. If I had any complaint about it, to my ear, it sounded a bit more covered than I would tend to like in the low register. Because low register tends to sound covered in general. So I find it's better to have a low register that's a bit more open sounding, but no big complaints at all. This is one of the better low registers I've ever tried on a horn. Let's do a bit with a high register. no issues there. The high register plays quite well as well. So what this tells me is that this horn has a really even, an exceptionally even response across the registers. I didn't feel that the low register was better than the high, and I didn't feel like the high register was better than the low. If I'm going to be nitpicky and just find anything to point out about the high register on this horn, I would say I think I would have preferred a little more ability to get a bit more sizzle. But again, that's a tiny nitpick. The high register on this horn responded well, sounded well in general. See if there's much else to say about this horn. It is string linkage, like most horns in America are. It's made of yellow brass, which, in my opinion, is the best choice of metal. Nickel silver on a horn with a medium bell can tend to sound too shrill and too hot. Gold brass can sound a bit more mellow and lacking in color when you get to the higher dynamics. Yellow brass, in my opinion, is a great middle point where you can play it loud and you can really get heat, or you can play it softly and you can get a nice mellow sound as well. So I guess I agree with the choice of nickel silver on this horn. Let's take a look at some of the things the horn comes with. So I've been playing this with my mouthpiece, but let's see what kind of mouthpiece the horn comes with. So this is a Yamaha 32C4. Okay, gonna get that in the camera. It's a Yamaha 32C4. A lot of manufacturers just find any sort of mouthpiece shaped object to put in their horn cases to say that the horn comes with a mouthpiece, especially when you're selling to schools, because a lot of times they're looking for what's called a kit. A French horn kit would be the horn, case, mouthpiece, everything you need to buy it and get someone playing right away. But Yamaha is a mouthpiece maker as well, and they have included one of their more popular mouthpiece models. Let's see how well it works. Okay, so I'm having a hard time playing on this mouthpiece. I don't think there's anything necessarily wrong with it, but it is far too small for me. By far too small, I mean the inner diameter is too small. The inner diameter refers to the width inside the rim. So from one inner edge of the rim to the other inner edge of the rim. That is the inner diameter. And this one would be way too small for me to use. It's very uncomfortable. And frankly, I don't think I got a great sound out of it. That doesn't mean it's a bad mouthpiece. But this proves why we always recommend that you do not use the mouthpiece that comes with the horn. This is going to be a great mouthpiece for somebody. But mouthpieces are individualized, and you really need to pick the mouthpiece that works best for you. Not just a stock standard model, not just a copy of what some other famous player uses, something that fits you and that you sound good on. So if you buy a Yamaha, it's worth a try. See, maybe the mouthpiece that comes with it would be good for you. But odds are it won't be, because you need to find something that will truly fit you as an individual. The Yamaha also comes with a case. And I'm just going to be honest with you, I really hate this case. I know no one from Yamaha is watching this live stream or paying attention, but on the slight chance that someone is, please change this case. I really, really don't like this case. It's unnecessarily big, it's heavy. It is a very sturdy case. It holds the horn well, and I think you would have to really, really try to damage the horn in this case. But other than that, to me, it's not really a very good case for everyday use. I just had to get that out of the way. I think if the Yamaha 671 had a better case, it would be complete slam dunk. Just an absolutely great instrument. I think that's it for my review of the Yamaha 671. I think it's a great horn for a great price at just under $5,000. If you're looking for a horn in that range, I think it's something you need to seriously take a look at, especially if you're looking for a medium-belled Geyer horn. There's also the Yamaha 668, which is a larger Crispel horn. But if Mike's, at least in Texas, most people come into the shop looking to buy Geyer style horns, so they tend to be looking for this model. Let me see if there are any comments in chat or any questions here. Okay, this is delightful. Thank you very much, Sue. Nice. Thank you very much, Pierre. Oh, hi, Matt. Very nice. I think Yamahas play better and sound broader without the lacquer. Yeah, I completely agree. Okay. Well, again, thank you very much for joining me. If my wife does not have a baby between now and Friday, I plan on doing another live stream about descant horns at 3 p.m. then. So you can join me again. Thank you. Bye.